fall, autumn, whatever you want to call it. We are officially in spooky season and I need to decorate my place for fall. So I figured I would probably spend a little bit of time to decorate my place for the autumnal season and get ready for Halloween next month. And I'm thinking I'm also probably gonna provide y'all with an update on my reading for this past month and what's gonna be coming up next. And also just trying to find more fall books just to see what's available and also what I have to get through for the fall season. But first, let's go ahead and make this place all spooky. I've got a bunch of fall decorations that I've collected over the years. So I'm probably gonna start hanging up some of the stuff and putting away any of like the spring or summer decor. So we'll go with that because I have like a couple of wreath things on my door frames. So I'm gonna get those first and then just put up the little trinkets along my TV stand over here and elsewhere in my house. So come along with me and we're gonna go ahead and get that started. Woo woo! Welcome back. We have now made the house fall ready. So ta-da! So there we go. I've showed some clips of what has been set up so far for fall decor. So what I'm gonna probably do right now is start going through the jar that I keep avoiding for reading and sort of just chat with y'all about some of what I have read so far and what I'm planning on reading for this fall. Haha, here we go. All right. Now it's probably been a hot minute since I've gone through the TBR jar, only probably just because I've A, been busy, and two, some of the books that I probably did already read have already been in here and been done, so we're gonna go ahead and try to update it. All right, first up on here, we are watching Eliza Bright by E. Osworth. I already read that this year, back during the summer, so that can go away. Got The Wizard of Oz, also read that earlier this year in the spring. We got Haunted House by Virginia Woolf. That's definitely on my fall list, so I'll keep that back in here. Jane Eyre or Shane Bronte? Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. That's definitely going on the list. I just don't know when it's gonna happen, but it will happen. I will read Jane Eyre at some point. King Lear by Shakespeare. That's also on the fall list. Shablam. The Immortalist, Chloe Benjamin. I have it on my shelf over there. I think I tried to read that at one point, maybe a few years ago. I didn't get around to finishing it, but I'm gonna try again, hopefully, so you're going in there. All right, We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. That was one of my first books of the year, so I don't need to read that again. Canterbury Tales, Geoffrey Chaucer. Read some books in school. Haven't really read the full thing, so that's going in there. Don't know if it's gonna be a fall book per se, but we'll get to it eventually. The Hand That Feeds You, A.J. Rich, in the jar. Course of History, that will probably be a November video, maybe, which I'm gonna get to the schedule in a little bit, so, but I'm definitely gonna put Course of History in here. I Let You Go by Claire McIntosh. Don't know if it's gonna make the fall list, but if I run out of stuff to read, I'll put it in there. The Master and Margarita, the Russian classic that I have kept on my shelf that it's probably collecting dust, so it will need to be read at some point. Little Bee by Chris Clear. Also is collecting dust on my shelf and don't know if I'm gonna be able to get around to it this season, but it will go in the jar. Stand by Stephen King, that's probably gonna be a mammoth to get through. But we're gonna keep it on there. Maybe it might be a 2024 read, who knows. House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski. That will probably be a Halloween book that I will probably take a while to get through because I actually have it on me, haha. It is a beast. So this is probably something I'm gonna probably have to take time to read because it is so hefty. And hopefully it should move by very quickly, which I'm very excited for. The Stars Did Wander Darkly by Colin Malloy. I read this earlier this year, was kind of disappointed in it. It had a really neat premise, but I just didn't like how it was executed. Utopia by Sir Thomas More. Again, TBR jar, have not gotten around to it. Sir Gawain the Green Knight, classic, going in the jar. That might be a reread at some point. As Good as Dead, Holly Jackson. Made me cry for you, YouTube. So you could watch that memory lane video and watch me cry. Carrie, Stephen King. Oh, I'm gonna actually hold this one out because I'll explain. Fairy Tale, Stephen King, that's gonna go jar. Keep forgetting to do it. Okay, and then There Were None by Agatha Christie. That's gonna go in the jar as well. Okay, so got some books lined up in here. I don't know if I'm gonna add like any books that are gonna be in my TBR that I have not gotten yet, just simply for the sake of if I do it as an audiobook and I don't know when they would be available, or if I do it as an ebook digitally through the app that I use the audiobooks for. I use Libby, by the way, so that's how I've been getting a lot of my audiobooks and digital books read. But I'm thinking I'll probably hold off on doing some of those TBR books just in case I'm not able to get them on time and I just don't want to delay that. But if I do have any more physical books, I will make sure to add them in here so that way I can continue to ignore this jar unless I absolutely get bored and I'm like, I have nothing to read. All right, so that's that. We got that bad boy done. Now let's plan for what we're gonna read in the fall. Well, hello, it's me again. I just had a new angle. Welcome to a new quarter of my house-ish. Okay. All right, well, since we're moving on to the book portion of the video, I might as well just give a quick synopsis of what I read last month and then what I plan to be reading or finishing up this month and what should be expected on this channel, because I know I did that for the summer reading video and I only got one of those book ideas done. So I am going to try to be more on top of what I read for this channel and what projects I've got coming up so I can get them out and share them with you guys. I just need to be better about planning it. So anyway, let me just sort of do a quick synopsis of the 8 books, believe it or not, that I read in August and the series I'm still working on now. So the first book I read in August was Mother Thing by Ainsley Hogarth, which is a newer horror novel that sort of is following a young couple that is getting haunted by the mother-in-law and she won't leave. It's very messed up and it's funny at times. It's very Otessa Moshfegh, if you've read any of her works. And I'm gonna leave that there just to let that kind of marinate a little bit. The next one I read was Dyscalculia, which was the memoir that I was talking about in my Books Out of My Comfort Zone video that I just put out, so you could probably listen to me talk about that a little bit more. But I did read that. I think I read it like in a couple of days. It was really depressing and very lyrical, but just, yeah, it was just really sad. 19 Claws of the Blackbird, that is a short story collection written by Agustina Basterica, who also wrote Tender as Flesh, which is a book that I read last year. That's also really messed up, but this is her short story collection that was translated into English. Some of the stories were hit and miss. It was okay, but it was alright. And then I read My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. That was one of like his first novels. I think it's one that's set in the 80s following a demon that is possessing a high school teenage girl and her best friend is trying to save her. Let's just say it's very female-driven horror. I don't even know what that would mean, but yeah. Okay. Then the next one that I listened to as an audiobook is The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz. This, if I were to do a whole video probably explaining my feelings towards this book, I think it would probably take 2 hours. So the next one I read was Opium and Absinthe by Lydia Kane. This is a turn-of-the-century novel that's following a young, aspiring reporter who is trying to follow the murderer that killed her sister, and she thinks it may be related to vampires just because the story takes place around the same time that Dracula first came out by Bram Stoker. So she's thinking it might be vampires, it may not be, who knows. This was a little tough to read topic-wise, and there were a lot of twists and turns, but I mean, it was enjoyable. I think I had a little bit of a tough time getting into it in the beginning, but it got better as time went on. So the next one I read was Nimona, and it's following a little monster girl that becomes a sidekick to a super bad villain in a fantastical kingdom, and it was cute. I liked it, and it was very wholesome and sad. Just a lot of emotions. All right, and then the last one I read for the month, well, I did this one as an audiobook, was The Glass Hotel by Emily St. John Mandel, who also wrote Station 11 and Sea of Tranquility. I didn't realize that Glass of Hotel was linked to Sea of Tranquility, or it was done the other way around because I read Sea of Tranquility first. So I kind of want to view this as a backstory a little bit to one of the sections of Sea of Tranquility. It was well written, and there were a lot of storylines that I did care about and a lot of others that I didn't necessarily care for, and at times it kind of just dragged on a little bit for my taste. So at the end of the day, it really just wasn't for me, but I do see why people like Emily St. John Mandel's writing. And then starting this month, I began the Truly Devious series by Maureen Johnson. This is a boarding school, kind of young adult, dark academia novel series, and I blew through the first book like that, and now I am currently on the second one because it ended in a really huge cliffhanger, and I need to know what's going on. I have less than 100 pages of the second book left. I'm on The Vanishing Stair right now, and it's moving by so quickly, but I also know at the same time that the mystery itself is kind of moving slowly. Not much is happening in the actual mystery-wise, but it still is very compelling to read, and you really are rooting for the characters, you're rooting for everything to resolve, and you want to know what's going on. I just wish the mystery could pick up a little bit, but I think I also understand that she's trying to stretch out the whole series to explain what's going on in multiple books, and with all the cliffhangers happening, that it makes you want to continue to read the series to figure out what's going on, which I don't think I've gotten this much into a series since probably The Atlas Six or A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, or even Six of Crows. Yeah, if that tells you my series tastes, then yeah, dark, spooky, little bit sarcastic at times, that's right up my alley. All right, so that is what I've had on my reading docket for the past month, as well as going into this month. But speaking of this month, let me go ahead and just kind of quickly give you some synopsis of what's going to be coming up for fall books and sort of just getting everything planned for at least September through November. So what I need to get done for this channel is my comparison of Carrie by Stephen King and The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. I keep talking about wanting to do this comparison, and it just has not happened, but this month I'm gonna make it happen. So I will be working on the video this month, and it will probably most likely come out in October, just depending on what I have to get done for research and analyzing both books. And I'm gonna treat it like a school project. Like I haven't really been this excited about doing a project like this in a long time, so I think it will be very neat to compare these two and figure out why Carrie is such a classic and what The Weight of Blood has to say about our culture and our history today. So I'm very excited to finally get this done and really kick off the spooky season with this book collection and this video. And then I know we keep talking about doing the Angela Carter books Again, I talked about this over the summer and it didn't wind up happening, so I might just read some of these short stories in The Bloody Chamber by Angela Carter to kind of break up a little bit between the different books that I've got going on. And I know I have the Magic Toy Shop somewhere in my house. I just gotta find it. But when I do, I will definitely probably maybe do it as a reading vlog. Don't know yet, but we'll figure that out. Another book that I know I need to get through is The Woman in Black by M.Y. Halladum. I think I talked about this book in one of my earlier videos this year, and it seems short enough that I might be able just to quickly pound it out when I can. So this might be like a little break in between some of the books that I'm reading, the longer ones. Course of History. Obviously, I know I want to get this one done, so I'll probably read the full book and then do a couple recipes. And this might be a November video because I think I'll probably work on this in October and then get it out by November for y'all. And then, like I explained earlier, House of Leaves, this is one that I know I definitely want to read this Halloween because it's spooky and I think it's supposed to be told in epistolarian style where I think multiple people worked on it. And it's done in different formats throughout the entire thing, so that might help to get through it quickly, but at the same time, I'm really looking forward to this, and I have high expectations for it. And then I've got Fairy Tale by Stephen King. I might do this as an audiobook, depending on what goes on. I really enjoyed the audiobook for Billy Summers a lot last year, and that was like one of my best books of the year. So I'm having high hopes that I could probably find a good audiobook version of this and then proceed to go from there. And then I've got Virginia Woolf's short story collection, A Haunted House. So if I don't get through any of the Angela Carter, or if I do get through Angela Carter's stuff and I'm still looking for a short story collection to go through, I might get into this. So Books with Tofu Kado, if you're still watching this and you found me, again, I'm definitely gonna add Haunted House for you. So this is in honor of you. Thank you so much for commenting that from my video last year. And then the last one I'm getting through, hopefully this year, is King Lear by Shakespeare. I kind of want to do a retelling of this in some way in my own work. And I've always been interested in wanting to read this, so this will probably go in at some point, maybe December, who knows, but we're definitely gonna get through it this fall. And that is all she wrote. So I've got a lot of exciting stuff coming up for this channel, and I'm really looking forward to getting started on the Carrying Weighted Blood video and as well as the Course of History video, because I know we keep talking about it and I want to deliver on my promises. I will not let you guys down, and I am excited to do more fall things. So I'll probably be getting out maybe some reading vlogs, maybe some just fun, silly fall videos, maybe some fall book recommendations, whatever y'all want, just let me know and I'll try to do my best to get that out when I can. But I think I've got a good plan, so I'm very excited to read more spooky books. I'm really excited to get into fall. It's gonna be great. I'm hyped, so I'll go ahead and get reading. So thank you all so much for watching this silly little get ready with me vlog, and I will catch you somewhere else on the internet. So have a great rest of your day and happy fall. Bye. Oh, that was weak. What was that? No, I need to redo that.